Aengus Ó Snodaigh, Aengus Ó Snodaigh.
Well, Margaret, the question I'm asking is, given that the possibility that there is a major health scandal hidden in the Air Corps due to bad health and safety standards, is it not logical that an audit or a survey of members and ex-serving members be carried out, a health survey to adjudicate the scale of the health problems in Ireland, similar to one that was undertaken in Australia when they became aware of serious exposure to deadly chemicals by serving members?
2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Deputy. At the outset, let me state again that I have done previously in this House that the health and safety and welfare of the men and women of Óglaigh and Éireann is a priority for me and my department. In this regard, there are a number of processes already in train relating to reviewing health and safety procedures in the Air Corps. Firstly, as you are aware, in September 2016, I appointed an independent third party to review the allegations made in a number of protected disclosures relating to health and safety issues in the Air Corps, which were received in late 2015 and early 2016. The report of the independent third party review was received by my department in June 2017. Although the report found that the Defence Forces regime appears to be capable of meeting statutory requirements, it makes a number of observations, including in relation to documentation, health surveillance and exposure monitoring. It also notes that the Health and Safety Authority is the appropriate statutory body to deal with such matters. I sent the report to those who have made the disclosures for their views, and I am considering the next steps in the process, having received those reviews in the context of ongoing litigation. Separately, and in parallel to the independent review, following the inspection in 2016, the Air Corps has continued to work with the Health and Safety Authority to improve its health and safety regime. I have been informed by the military authorities that the HSA has formally noted the considerable progress made to date by the Defence Forces towards the implementation of a safety management system for the control of hazardous substances. Subject to completion of the improved plan, the HSA investigation is closed. However, it must be noted that the Air Corps health and safety is a matter of ongoing monitoring, supervision and adjustment. The Air Corps is fully committed to implementing improved safety measures that protect workers from potential exposures to chemicals and will ensure risks are as low as reasonably practical. With reference to inquiries conducted in Australia, as I indicated to you in my reply, PQ number 849 on the 7th of March 2017, I am informed by the military authorities that there are a number of published reports and ongoing studies in relation to Australian personnel who were exposed to chemicals while conducting a particular maintenance task on a specific aircraft programme. As such, the military authorities have advised that it would be difficult to draw a direct comparison between the Irish Air Corps and that of the Australian Air Force.
Deputy Snodaigh.
I accept the progress made in terms of health and safety in the Air Corps since these issues were first raised with your previous ministers and with the authorities. But the problem is, I'm not looking for comparisons with Australia. I'm alluding to a process that they engaged in, and you have not undertaken that process in any shape or form since I've made you aware and others have made you aware of a serious scandal that was there. This is a historic event. I hope today that there is nobody in the Air Corps who is exposed in the same way the personnel were exposed for 20 or 30 years to dangerous chemicals. Australia is but one of a series of countries who have identified major flaws in their health and safety regime. And when they identified that, one of the first things they did is they implemented a regime or a survey of the members who are serving and those who had left to see what their health problems is, so that they could take the steps to address their needs and make sure no future ones. So historically, it's not to do with the O'Toole report, it's not to do with anything else, but to do with the health of those who had previously served who are suffering hugely because of this.
1 minute.
Thank you very much, Deputy. First of all, let me state that yes, this is a historical event that happened in the Air Corps. Also, let me say, going forward, the HSA have been very involved in the health and safety and well-being of members of the Air Corps, as I have outlined in my reply to you for the health and well-being going forward, to make sure whatever happened or occurred in the past, that doesn't happen in the future again. But let me state, Deputy, that when the protected disclosures were received in late 2015 and early 2016, upon my appointment in mid-2016, May 2016, the first thing I did was to appoint an independent chairperson. The independent reviewer met with all of the personnel that made the protected disclosures. I sent out the final report and published the report to the people that made the protected disclosures. They have replied to me. I'm considering my next steps. I have been given a suite of options from my officials, and I will be making a decision on what option I will be going forward with, to make sure that we take seriously the allegations that were made by the personnel that made the protected disclosures.
Minister, as I said, the O'Toole report, all it dealt with was whether the procedures were in place to deal with whistleblowers. This isn't about the whistleblowers. This isn't about the cases before the courts at the moment. If you set them aside, and I know the state is fighting them tooth and nail, and I think they're on the losing side, there are quite a number of other serving members and previous members who gave service to this state through the Air Corps who are suffering catastrophic health problems. Most of them, they believe, are related to the chemicals that they were exposed to, the likes of trisolone and others, which cause not minor problems such as ulcers or lethargy, they do that as well, but major heart effects, birth defects, a range of respiratory and intestinal complaints, and also is basically affecting them in the same way if I gave you poison straight away. Minister, are you concerned about the health of former members of the Defence Forces? Because don't forget, the Defence Forces still has, and you have, a duty of care to those who previously served, because they are still answerable, even though they might be in civies, if you want now. They are still answerable to the state in terms of the defence laws. So, Minister, I am asking you, are you concerned, and do you believe it's worthwhile finding out what happened?
Minister.
Because that hasn't been the task of O'Toole or anybody else to date.
Minister, 1 minute, please.
Well, let me state, yes, it is a duty of care, and I have taken this issue very seriously, and I outlined the process that I put in place upon my appointment, and I met with the whistleblowers, whatever of the personnel that made the protected disclosures, whoever made them. I met them and gave them the opportunity, and I listened to them and their concerns, and I will act upon the concerns that they have written back to me upon they have been given the review. But as you have stated, that there are quite a number of people, and as I have already indicated in the House, the State Claims Agency is currently managing 7 claims taken against the Minister for Defence for personal injuries alleging exposure to chemical and toxic substances whilst working with the Air Corps in the period of 1991 to 2006. And I think it would be inappropriate of me to comment further of the litigation cases that are going forward. But of the people who made the protected disclosures on this issue, I am taking it very seriously as a duty of care, as Minister with responsibility for defence, and I can assure you I believe that I will make the right decision on whatever recommendation I make next.